Hello guys, today's video would be about the model not from the box as usual, but from the paper journal. Yeah, many videos ago we worked on a big paper scale model prototype of Japanese medium tank Chiri. This one in 1:25 scale from paper journal Kartonowa Kolekcja. This one. And by the way, please check the previous video, the finishing of interesting and unusual diorama. So well detailed model as for paper kits with interesting what if 3 colors camo. In previous episode we finished this big turret. Commander's cupola looks not so good as I expected, but in general let it be, on the whole picture it would be okay. But the gun, which was also difficult part, looks good. About the hull, there was a lot of routine with these grills, but it worth it. All other parts were not difficult. And the main reason why this project stopped, and it is common reason for many modelers in work with such paper kits, tank chases. There are enormous amount of details to be assembled. Hopefully I finished, easier part, supporting rollers and suspension. Now time for carriages and main rollers, also caterpillars. We have here instruction. As you see, assembling process seems to be complicated. We need to connect it together a lot of different details. But in general, nothing too much difficult. But I'm not sure about that. Okay, let's start from the carriages. We have some upgrade parts from cardboard that make our work faster and easier. At first let's divide cardboard parts from this 1 mm thickness frame. That's easy task. Next we have to connect paper colorized part with this cardboard piece. For this we can use UHU glue or PVA glue or wooden glue or super glue gel even. Completed. Then we have to connect these parts in one, so we received colorized detail from both sides. When ready, with the help of acrylic paint we should paint white edges of the paper details, so we have this carriage part and blank which was painted too. Now I use PVA glue to connect them. PVA glue makes paper wet a little and more flexible. These details completed. Now most messy works with the rollers. At first we can reduce number of prepared discs on a double, in the same way we did it earlier. Actually connection is way much comfortable and interesting part of work, while cutting process may be boring, especially if it needed to prepare huge numbers of rounded similar details. So we received double discs. Also I added here connection ring from upgrade set, and one more not an easy task is to connect this rubber and metallic part of the disc. Well, to prepare the detail was also not an easy work. So I added here PVA glue, shorten a little this rounded stripe, and then insert it inside the ring. Then some corrections and manipulations and we receive such a detail. We have to connect together our previous steps, but to do that we need connection outer stripes that imitates outer rubber surface of our rollers. With the help of knife and metallic ruler we divide these stripes. A lot of repetitive work in paper scale models is a common thing, but it is the only way to assemble them together. I think we can cut it a little bit longer, for half a millimeter, then we can easily bend this detail on our hand. For that we need rounded tool. We can connect sides of this circle with a small drop of super glue gel. If everything were completed, we received 3 groups of details. This outer ring, one more ring and disc part. As you see, dark part was painted not in black but dark gray color, which suited here better. Our task to connect all this stuff together. At first this detail, apply glue on a perimeter, I use here PVA. Then we can just insert this detail inside a bigger ring. Connection points of both details I locate from opposite sides. Then centrify details, and it looks not bad. Yep, we add here more glue on connection gaps than it needed, and on other connection points, well, almost everywhere. Maybe it is too much, so be careful with the glue, but it seems that it would be okay and it's not deform our details. But at first I will make a try roller. So finally we can insert this piece inside rest of details. It's easier than previous stages, and here it is, almost completed part of the roller. Each roller consists from 2 parts, and yes, we have a lot of them, with 3 variations of color. Almost a week I spent to create these rollers from paper and cardboard to this stage. And this even not the final step, but the most difficult job with main rollers completed. There are several small details left and installation process ahead. Well, when I talk several small details, I mean this. Yep, it takes days to finish rollers before I can start installation on the tank. Well, history knows much more complicated suspension systems, rollers and tank chases that represented in scale models in paper in 1:25 scale. This one, I guess, medium or maybe medium hard level of suspension in work. But anyway, I love how it goes. When all rollers prepare, I can connect them into carriages finally. So we have rollers and carriages basement detail. Also I prepared straight fragment of the metallic 1mm thickness wire. And now our task to connect 4 rollers and 1 basement into one piece. That metallic pieces plays here a role of axis, and they will provide much more strength to our construction and to our chases, and that would be enough to hold the weight of whole model. Well, the weight will spread on 8 carriages from both sides. I use here PVA glue, need time before details dry up, and we move forward. Now when carriages assembles and they're on their places, we can remove extra lengths of that axis. And we need to adjust caps from both sides. Also we have to paint some white paper parts that I missed previous stages. And one important thing that we should set rollers according to camel pattern on the hull. We can cross-check it on instruction. By the way, one more tip about cutting process of rounded flat details. We can show it on rear rollers. So if we have to cut off some details like this one from both sides, from outer side and inner side, we can cut it at first from outer side, of course with the help of such a circular knife, a must-have instrument, must-have tool for paper modeling. So at first I cut this detail from outer side, then fix this detail in its frame with the help maybe of masking tape, and then reduce the diameter of knife and cut the paper from inner side of the ring. We do it carefully and slowly, so in the end we receive fine rounded detail with precisely cutted edges from both sides. And let's return back to our main process. Yes, several hours, well actually weeks later, we have completed rear rollers and drive sprockets as well. Most of these rollers a little bit more complicated than main rollers, but there are only 2 pairs of this type of rollers, so that's not a big problem. And final step with rollers. I added here metallic wires as in the same way as for main rollers. Now we can insert our last pairs of rollers. And so only rear and front rollers would be workable, and that would be enough for Caterpillar's installation process. Oh yes, truck links. Actually, it is most boring and routine process in 1:25 scale paper models. Here they are, but a lot of modern paper models in these scales have upgrade set with the laser-cutted caterpillars. And that I think a must-have during the assembling works with such models. Actually, I'm purchasing only that kits in such a scale that has such a upgraded set. This upgrade set from other manufacturer, from GPM, but it is almost the same as original laser cut upgrade set with caterpillars. Okay, and yep, one episode left and this cherry would be finished, so we need to assemble caterpillars, paint them, also we have to provide exhausting system and some instruments on the top of the tank. Well, actually not so many work, and that's a great news. So I guess that's all for today. Thank you for watching, hope you enjoy, and have a nice day and bye.